Welcome, everybody, back to Rock On Studio Live. My name is Elwood, your host, and I appreciate you hanging out with us once again today. Hey, I got to tell you this. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to do it on YouTube and Twitch. Just search Rock On Studio Live, and you can check out all the past interviews and more. Got some great ones on there. Chris Motionless, Eric from I Prevail, Gavin Rosdale of Bush, Lou Brutus, our very own, who's got a new book out, Sonic Warrior, and check out all of them. Brent Smith of Shinedown and more. Plus tomorrow, right here at noon, I'll be live with Matt from Dinosaur Pileup. Plus we got Lizzie Hale scheduled and some special guests over the next couple of weeks you're not going to want to miss. So make sure you set the reminder on YouTube and Twitch. Just search Rock On Studio Live. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. It's all good stuff, and I got a very special guest, which I'm super excited about. First off, I just want to give a shout out to Doubles. It's pretty cool watching The Last Dance, that 10-part documentary wrapping up. Craziness going on with MJ right now. The GOAT, man. He was driven. Kind of makes me feel like a lazy ass when you think about my life afterwards. All right, but my guest today is somebody that I love, and I've loved the band for so long. We've had them all touring, and they should have been touring, but we actually just got the official cancellation yesterday for the huge one. Breaking Benjamin, Theory of a Deadman, Bush, Saint Asonia, and Corey Marks all on tour together. Man, that would have been massive. And it will be massive, just not for this year. The latest record he's put out is Say Nothing. Well, we've all been doing nothing, and I know he added that. And we got a great single that has just been so powerful for so many people as the world keeps spinning. Welcome to the Rock On Studio. My guest today, Tyler of Theory of a Deadman. Tyler, how's it going, man?
Good, man. We were talking backstage, right? The digital backstage for a bit about what's going on. So, yeah, it's nice to chat with you again.
Mm-hmm. So we were just talking off air before we broadcasted, and I want to say this. Tyler is apparently a great handyman. He just installed brand new doors in his house. He's fixing toilets. He built an addition during quarantine. And me, I am actually locked in my house. This is not a joke. Our door locked, and I have to call a locksmith who can't come till tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. So I am literally locked in my house, and I need to figure out for you to come over here and fix that for me.
I probably could. Do you have a crowbar?
This is Chicago. This is Chicago. No one will notice if I'm outside the crowbar. They would just be like, "Oh,
that's right.
It's Wednesday." There you go. That seems about normal. So, have you always been a handyman, or is this a new quarantine project?
Nah, you know what? It surprises a lot of people that I guess one of my hobbies is to just after all the years, figure out how to just do everything myself. So even like mechanical stuff, like building motors, and I had this truck and I tore it right down to nothing and rebuilt the motor and tranny and everything. And so I just always enjoy doing this stuff, and I find that there's good and bad. The bad is the fact that now that I can do everything myself, when you hire someone to do something, you're just like watching over them, and you're like, it's not a great, get out of the way. Let me show you how it's done.
Or they do it and then you think to yourself, how much am I paying you to do this? Like that was it, and now I got to pay you $200 because I know this locksmith's going to come over tomorrow. He's going to be here for 10 minutes and he's going to be like, that's $250. I'll be like, what?
Oh yeah, dude.
I know that's what's going to happen. If I would have had him out there tonight, it would have been even more expensive. Then I would have really been worried. Well, first off, congratulations, History of Violence. First single off the record, huge. And now we get World Keeps Spinning. But unfortunately, you broke the news yesterday on your social media pages about the cancellation of the tour. But you also announced during that a very cool thing with refunds, tickets, and also teaming up with Live Nation to take care of the crew. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, Live Nation seems to be trying to give back, doing what they can, just because everything is so disrupted. There's no shows, period. So I think they're trying to get people still excited about music when it comes back by offering 150%, which is pretty cool. Instead of getting a refund, you can say, hey, tell you what, you can get 150%, whatchamacallit, for Live Nation venues. And then they also donate, for every ticket you bought, they'll donate those tickets to,
healthcare
nurse,
worker,
firefighter,
right?
Healthcare worker. And I was talking to my sister yesterday, and she was saying all the things that people are doing for the frontline responders, give them like free flights and free air miles and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? That's great. That is really good. I have a friend that's a nurse, and he's on a COVID team, especially, and he doesn't talk too much about it, but he says it's like war. He says it's crazy. So, it's great that a lot of people are doing that for these heroes, because they're really like, they're right there, and he's like, I must have it by now, and he's just still going to work every day and trying to save lives. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, as we all try to get our lives back to the new normal, as what they call it, with masks and social distancing and more, we all got to thank those frontline workers, not only the healthcare workers, but everybody that's worked all through it. The garbage men, the grocery store workers, the bagger, the person who fills the stock, all these companies and manufacturers that have still been going to keep food in. There are so many people that have worked through all this, and we just can't thank them enough. So if we could send them off to a concert and help them out, I think that'd be a good way of helping them get back.
Yeah, I think once we get up and rolling, I think there's definitely some creative things we can do for some essential workers once everything gets rolling again. I think that'd be really cool.
One of the hot topics right now is trying to survive is music venues all across the world, all across North America. Small clubs and venues may not be able to reopen again. Some of these small clubs that you've seen your favorite bands at, where they started small and ended up massive. Now those clubs may not be around for bands to get their start. Is there a club, Tyler, that you guys always played when you first started that will always be close to your heart when you think back to the early days?
Yeah, in our hometown, there's a place called the Commodore Ballroom, which is still actually a ballroom. So there's actual balls on the floor, so it kind of bounces. And we played there, I don't know how many times. I remember we did our showcase there for record labels, and we just did a couple nights there in January for the CD release party of our new album. So that's definitely like the home venue, and I think it's a Live Nation venue. So I hope it stays open. I think it's been around for 100 years. It's one of those classic places, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, that definitely is one of the things I've been talking about is the local, the smaller venues, the cool, even like the dive bars, or even the local promoters that rely on shows all the time. Even not even like national acts, but even like cover bands and stuff. It's tough for them. So I'm really trying to think of ways that we can try to save some of those places.
Yeah, that was a big one. I had a great guest on who was a local promoter talking about those clubs that he books all across the Midwest. And one of the main things he discussed was to help save those clubs, they are rebooking all the shows that have been canceled. And the promoters have asked that you do not ask for a refund in those situations, because the money that was bought for those tickets is the only way those doors are staying open right now. So they said all shows will get rescheduled at a later date, but by asking for refunds, they're giving back all the money that they already have in stock that they're using to keep the doors open currently. And I never thought about it that way. So for the smaller clubs and dive bar venues, if you bought tickets to a show, the best thing you can do to help them out is hold on to those tickets, wait for the rescheduling, and go to the tour. I never thought about that as a way to really help out, is not asking for a refund. I know everybody needs every dollar that they can, but in my situation, if I bought something 3 months ago, that money's gone. Like, I wrote that off already, And I thought that was a cool angle from a promoter to say, hold on to your tickets, please. We're going to reschedule. That's the only reason we're staying open right now. And I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, and you know what? I also think, like, people that go to shows, even if they go to more than one show, it's a certain kind of person that really likes to support live music. They like to go to shows. I know people that are like, I've been to 27 Metallica shows or something, crazy. And it's like those are the kind of people that definitely would hold on to their tickets to support that, because if there's no venues, there's no live music anymore. So it's one of those unfortunate things that you have to try to think about.
And that's where those bands start. Everybody just doesn't sell out arenas when they start. They all have to go start somewhere. And those tiny, dirty rock clubs is where everybody does get their start. All right, let's talk a little bit music. So congratulations on the record, Say
Thanks.
Nothing. And it's funny, I always have to tell myself, say nothing, because I remember when the album came out, it was right do nothing. So as much as we were promoting the record, say nothing, we were saying, but at this time, do nothing. And you even brought that up in a couple interviews, right?
That's right. I think so. I think about, pick up our new record, say nothing, but make sure you, do nothing.
Yeah,
But,
all at the same time. So you take on a lot of hot topics on the record. I mean, from domestic violence to racism, the world keeps spinning. Was this something that you really wanted to go after in the writing process? Was this how did all of these hot topics come about when putting this record out?
yeah, you know what? It all started with RX on the last album. I've always kind of shied away about talking about politics or things that maybe don't affect me. We had a song on one of our older records called "We Were Men," which was about PTSD and soldiers returning home and not being able to be able to go back into their normal everyday lives, and that was even scary for me to write about because how do I write about something that doesn't affect me? So RX kind of opened the door for me, I think, lyrically, when I saw the reaction with that song and how much it helped people and how the reaction that I got from the lyrics. So I think this record, I was able to just go, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to talk about all the things that bother me, all the things that I'm we had some time off and I was on the news a lot, watching the news, and it was just like almost every day I'm like, man, that's terrible. You know what, I'm going to write about that. Where 10 years ago, I wouldn't even think about it. I'd be like, nah, forget it.
So did you think your fans were going to be a little weary at first? Was it something you were worried about when you started putting out the music?
No, I don't think so. It's one of those things. I always have to either remind myself or remind the band guys. When we started as a band, we were in my dad's basement. We had no fans. And so we were just writing from the heart. We were just writing like something that really motivated each other, right? Whether it was a riff that Dave wrote or lyrics that I thought were really cool. The only people that would hear it were the other guys in the band. So I always try to approach it the same. Every record we make, I try to approach it like, what do I think was going to be something I'm going to be proud of? And the guys in the band are going to be really excited to want to, record and jam and stuff like that. And I think that's kind of a healthy way to approach it, every record.
So do you think it was a maturity thing with the band, where you guys were at in the point of your life? Or was it just, this is the next step in theory of a Deadman. This is what I want to do. Or did it have to do with just getting older?
It could be. I mean, probably. We see that with a lot of bands, I think, even like growing up, like even bands like Pearl Jam or Stone Temple Pilots, these bands that I grew up to and I listened to, the first couple of records from Pearl Jam or Core from STP, like Dead and Bloated, and you listen to it in your car and you're like, oh my God, this is so amazing. And then once you get to Tiny Music, you're like, this is a completely different band. Like the third record was so different than Core, but man, now I think Tiny Music is their masterpiece. I think that's such a phenomenal record, much like Silverchair, their first record was at Frog Stomp.
Yep.
I don't know what year they came out, but by the time they got to Diorama, which is, I think, a masterpiece, completely different than their first record. It's the same thing. I don't know if it's maturity or getting older. It's just, I think bands find their way and then they kind of creep up on something that really all just clicks, and maybe it clicks within the band or just it's just where you are in your life. But for us, I don't know. That's just kind of where we are now. Who knows? The next record, it could go back to something more like SGP Core. Who knows, right? It could be exciting.
So when you had your, for everybody knows, when bands are going to release a record, they have a game plan. You have a game plan with management and label. This is where we're going to go. This is going to be the first single. This is when it's going to get released. And it's all attached to tours usually. Obviously, the tour has been canceled now. Your record was already out already. Was World Keep Spinning the original plan to be the second single off of that record, or did that change when the world stopped spinning, literally?
No, it just was. The irony it sounds almost like something strategic, but no, that was picked as a second single. I think in January we filmed a video for it, which came out on January 31st. So that by January 31st, we already released the video, and it was already expected to be the second single. So it was well before the pandemic hit. But now I listen to the lyrics and I'm like, this is creepy because, this is really, it talks a lot about isolation and anxiety and the people that you miss and all the things that you miss. And it's just like, it sounds strategic. Like we picked a song when like, let's just throw this at everybody. They're going to relate to it. And we're like, but it's not. It was just all fluke.
That's crazy how that all worked out. It's nuts. Another track I really love off of Say Nothing, which is out now, by the way, get the new record. White Boy is one that really hit me well, listening to it, actually using a news clip from Charlottesville during all that. Was that one of those songs where you were watching the news and said, I got to put something pen down to paper on this one?
Yeah, I mean, it was something I read and I watched an episode of Vice. Remember that the TV show Vice?
Mm-hmm. It's still on,
it's
right?
On HBO. Yeah. And they did an episode where a reporter followed around a white supremacist group who were at the rally. I think, is that in Virginia?
Yep.
And it was kind of a day in the life. And I can't remember what the group was, but near the end, when that guy ran down all those people with his car, and I think one person died. I think a lady died. I guess the reporter asked the group, said, hey, so did you hear that someone was killed at the rally? And their answer was, that's a good start. And I thought, oh my God. So I think that was what kind of wanted me to write about it. Usually that kind of triggered me to at least say something, but yeah, that's usually how it starts. I watch something or read something, and then especially on this record.
Yeah, it's a very powerful record. If you have not spent time with it, I highly suggest doing it. So many great tracks on there. They hit home. And there's still some good dancing jams you can get down with as well. Don't think it's all serious topics at the same time. Right. Still got some fun rock and roll dance moves for you to check out there. So during quarantine, before we got on the broadcast, you said you hadn't gone grocery shopping since the beginning of March. What have you been living off of? Ordering food every day? Postmates, you said something about?
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about Postmates. What happened, Tyler?
So I've been, I've been pretty much scared to death to leave my house. So I just order everything. There's a thing called Territory Foods, one of those companies that you go on their website and you can pick anything you want. And they make these little like meals for you, and then they ship it to your house in ice. So I do that, and also the Postmates groceries. I do usually twice a week. So they usually find it difficult to get everything I want, and I don't really ask for much, to be honest. I'm just one guy. But every time I order, they go, oh, they're out of this or they're out of that. I'm like, that's all right. So it's always expected. So last week I ordered toothpaste, and it said Colgate. And I put it in any kind, like, because there's like minty fresh and there's all this different kinds, any kind. So then he brings me this Colgate for kids, strawberry flavored, 2 to 6 years. And I'm like, are you serious, dude?
Did it come with like a little tiny toothbrush too? You didn't get just like one little tiny ones?
Yeah. And I was just like, that's just hilarious.
Well,
and I was just like, I was angry, right? I'm like, what? You got to be kidding me! You can tell me they're out of Colgate? No, like no. I don't know. But I actually went to the grocery store for the first time yesterday, and I tell you, man, it was like I don't know. I just felt so elated to just be in a grocery store with a mask on. I just was so excited to be in there, like picking up avocados. It was amazing. And they had lots of Colgate, by the way. Wall of Colgate.
Are you going to try it at least? Hey, it's still toothpaste, right? What makes toothpaste only good for 2 to 6 year olds? Like because their teeth aren't fully formed yet? I don't know anything about kids. Is that what it means?
It's strawberry. It's 0% artificial flavors or sweeteners. Preservatives and colors. So you can probably eat this stuff. I don't know. No, I'm going to give it for a gift. I'm going to gift it to somebody. Maybe an adult. Maybe someone that's being like whiny baby. I'll be like, here you go.
Yeah, so anybody that's acting like a bitch, then you just give them that little toothpaste to make them feel better. Me and my wife tried to use Instacart once, And I think half the stuff we ordered we didn't get. We just started getting random stuff. And then I don't know where you order from, but our people, they call you the whole time. So if they're in the grocery store and you ask for something, they'll call you and be like, "How about this?" You're like, "Yeah, whatever." And then they call back, "How about this?" But you, in the guy's defense, you did say any Colgate. Is that kids' toothpaste Colgate?
I'm one of those guys that will get angry at something. You go out to a restaurant and you're like, I didn't get I'll go to a Mexican restaurant and I'll get fajitas, right? And they bring the sizzling chicken fajitas, and you can hear it coming from the back, right? Shh. And everyone's eating, and you're like, and then there's no tortillas, right? And you're like, where's my tortillas? And then 10 minutes later, everyone's finished eating, and you finally get your tortillas. And I'm one of those guys that gets cranky about it. But then I just tip 30%. I'm just never a guy that would take it out on a server or something. I'm just one of those. It's the same thing. You brought me this Colgate, and I just
you just deal with it on the inside, right? And I got Theory of a Deadman's next single. It's called "Crappy Toothpaste."
What's it? Hey man, yeah. Next record, there could be some aggro songs on there about Postmates. You never know.
Oh, I'll die if I hear one song about tortilla, about sizzling steak with no tortillas and child toothpaste. I'm going to go, I remember that day. I remember that day with Tyler, that guy.
Yeah.
Rock On Studio Live, Tyler Connolly of Theory of a Deadman with us. Don't forget, the new record is out now. It's Say Nothing, but we are continuing to do nothing. And World Keeps Spinning, the new single. Make sure you request it to your local rock radio station, wherever you're watching from right now. Call them, message them, email them, annoy them. World Keeps Spinning. It's a track we all need right now. And the whole record, it's got some powerful songs and also some good times all at well. So is this weird for you to be home planning that, being on that massive tour? I mean, Breaking Benjamin, Theory of a Deadman, Bush, Saint Asonia, Corey Marks. That was a stacked lineup that I'm sure you were looking forward to.
Yeah, no, we're bummed because we were those tours are planned so far in advance, right? It's I think it was December or January it was put together. So that's how long we've been looking forward to it. And we were looking forward to, honestly, the shows would be great. And but those are the kind of summer shows where the camaraderie with the other bands is what we're really get excited about. Because we've toured with all those bands before, not Corey Marks, but Saint Asonia and Bush and Breaking Benjamin. So, we're all excited just to see the guys and see the bands and hang out. So it's a bummer, man. But, this is all going to fly by. It's going to fly by. And then all of a sudden we'll be talking about, remember when there was a year, we all took a year off, so it'll all come back and it'll all be great again. I know.
Once again, the cancellation of that massive tour, the news broke yesterday, and it must have been the hammer coming down on Live Nation because everybody canceled their tours yesterday. It was like one big announcement across the board. But once again, Live Nation has teamed up with a lot of these tours to do some great stuff for the 150% refund credit that you can get, 150% credit. And also your tickets can be donated to a frontline worker. So that is really cool. And then also another thing that is coming together is saving the crews. A lot of people don't keep in mind, don't think about the lighting guys and the stage hands and the front of house and the monitor guy and all these workers that literally make their living on the road touring with bands. And I'm sure, Tyler, that you have a lot of guys that you've worked with closely over the years. And one of the biggest problems right now is unemployment is not available to them as contractors and gig workers. So I know that's something that's got to be close to your heart too, is taking care of those guys.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough too because they're really good at what they do. And so when they go home, it's not like they can just go home and do gigs, local gigs, or be a lighting guy at everything's shut down. So they go home and they're like, I cannot do anything. So it's kind of sad that they're not able to actually just, when we're not touring, do something else. So yeah, we've been trying to raise some money. There is some nonprofit stuff, some charity stuff. I know Hailstorm just started one. I think it's called Roadie Strong. I hope I'm correct with that. Hashtag Roadie Strong. Yep. They are raising money. So there you go. I'll give a little shout out to Roadie Strong. Anytime we're trying to help out our crew, people or people we work with, other bands and stuff. I'm all about it.
Yeah, especially getting to the level where you're at now with all the production that goes into shows. Those are pretty big crews. Those are definitely some big crews to be getting those stages put together. So hashtag Roadie Strong. Merch is available. You can check out Crew Nation where you can actually buy merch that will support. And I know a lot of bands have been setting up their own. A Day to Remember has ADTR Crew support where you buy a T-shirt and it goes directly to them. And that's the one thing I love about rock, Tyler. It's one of the only formats that is one giant family. No matter where you are in the world, it doesn't matter what you do. When you have this bond of music and rock together and live shows and memories, it's something that we always come together. So I think it's awesome. So hashtag Roadie Strong, merch available for a lot of bands, and check out Live Nation's deal as well. Tyler, thank you so much for hanging out in the Rock On studio. Did you have a good time today?
I did. We talked. I'm glad we got to talk about the toothpaste and Postmates. I hope you get out of your house, man.
I'm gonna be stuck here forever, dude. You're gonna get another email after this going, Rock On Studio wants you on again because he's got nothing to do. That's what I think is gonna happen. It's
crazy because you're gonna be able to unlock your door and then you're not gonna be able to go anywhere. But it's just knowing that you can leave is all that matters.
Yeah. I don't want to clean up dog piss and poop all night either. So that'll be a whole another situation.
No, I got a dog.
Yeah, 100-pound dog. Let's see what he says. And I know he's going to be pissed about it. Well, don't forget, pick up the record, whatever you do, download it, stream it. Is it out on vinyl? Do we have vinyl for Say Nothing?
We do. It is on a vinyl. I'm not sure. I think you can go to our website to get it on vinyl. You can order it online.
Awesome. Support all your favorite bands during this. And one thing I always like to say, the bands are not touring. We're not at our shows. But if you want to support all your favorite bands, buying merch right now is the best thing you can do. And then also hold on to those tickets for the rescheduling dates and help out those small clubs. Rock On Studio Live. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and Twitch. Be back tomorrow with Matt from Dinosaur Pileup and some very special guests coming up in the next couple weeks. Plus, you can check out past interviews with Brent Smith of Shinedown, Chris Motionless, Erica by Prevail. Scott Stapp is even on there. Got a lot of great stuff. Rock On Studio Live on YouTube and Twitch. Tyler from Theory of a Deadman, thank you so much for hanging out with us today, man.
You got to do it anytime. Thanks so much.
We'll talk to you guys again soon. My name is Elwood. That's Rock On Studio Live. Have a good day. Stay safe and wash your hands, please.